What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know if you can tell, but I did not get a good night's sleep. I did not have a video come out yesterday. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold, ran a little small fever, but I'm feeling better now. Got the old Dayquil flowing through my veins. But anyway, I'm back in the shop today. I have some people coming in. I broke my fever this morning, so I feel tremendously better. But I had some people express some interest in buying some of these small form factor PCs with a small amount of upgrades. So I was like, okay, well, let's look into it. And one of them, he wants to run Fortnite and he wants a little bit more RAM because the system that's in front of me right here has an i5, I think it's a 6500. We'll boot it up here in a second, and it has 8 gigs of RAM. Well, I have plenty of DDR3 in stock because this is a DDR3 board. So I was like, well, I'll throw another 8 gigs in there. That'll get you 16 gigs, plenty for Fortnite. And then we'll go with some kind of small form factor card that I can slot in here. And then you can just use this case. It'll save you having to buy an aftermarket case and me recasing it. And it'll save you having to buy an aftermarket power supply, especially if we get a low power small form factor card that doesn't need any additional power other than just from the slot. Because these power supplies don't have any external like PCIe plugs, no 6 pins, nothing like that. So I'm jumping on eBay here and I'm gonna look around and see what's available in that low profile small form factor GPU space, because that's a whole new space for me. 90% of all my graphics cards are all full size. So yeah, but basically let's hook this customer up. Let's get him a good deal. All right, so I've been doing some scouring on the internet, and it looks like a good budget option is the RX 550 4GB model. They fit in because they're only one slot. They're low profile. Because you can step up if you have more money and go to like a 2-slot low profile, but that obviously will not work with this power supply. So I'm going to go ahead and order one of those for him. I don't know if that's going to do the trick for most people, but for a very budget oriented setup, I think that'll solve it for him. So let's grab a stick of RAM while I'm thinking about it. Some DDR3. See, like here's a dual slot, low profile, A2000. That bad boy will not fit in there. I think all up here is my DDR3. 2 gig, 2 gig, 2 gig. We got lots of 2 giggers. There's another one, 2 gig, 2 gig. And oh my, 2 gig for days. There's an 8 gig. 8 gigs, or no, that's 2 times 4. So it's 2 4 gig sticks. Let's see what we have in here. Let's plop it out. Alrighty, so we have, so that's 16 gigs right there. We plop that in the system with an RX 550. Let me do some number crunching, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and order that 550. I'm gonna order a solid state for this. I think I'll go with like a 500 gig. I think a 500 gig would do well. And then try to see what these will price out for. And I may end up listing. Obviously, this one he wants to buy it. We're trying to hit a specific number. I don't know if we're gonna hit that yet or not. But we'll see if that number ends up working, and then I may throw a few of them up on the online store. And so when the online store launches, since I have some of these in stock, I could just build them out, or maybe just build them out and have them ready to go. I'm not sure. It's one of those things. I just don't know how an office small form factor PC is going to sell. So bear with me. All right, so I took the other one and went ahead and put it on the shelf. I wrote on the little sticker that was on it, 16 gigs of RAM and the processor, so I wouldn't forget it. And now I grabbed this one. This is not an Elite desk. This is a different model. Let me see if I can't get it into, oh, I missed BIOS. But this one does not have a standard ATX motherboard. This one's got a proprietary motherboard, but it's actually got a little bit more room for a graphics card. I don't know if we could fit a 2-slot graphics card in there, but This one may actually be a better option depending on what CPU's in there. So let me get it booted up to BIOS and go from there. I don't know how many of these I have, so I'll go check. All right, so this one has an i5-3470. This is one of the DDR3 systems. That's what I thought I had earlier. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a mark on this so I know what it is, put the side panel back on, and then kind of just keep going through them. So let's do it. All right, so this one's got a slightly different configuration. This one could fit a much wider graphics card. It's still got to be low profile, but yeah, the PCI Express 16 slot is up here. That's really nice. This one is an i5-4570. It's got 8 gigs, and this is DDR3, and it's 1600 megahertz. So I'm gonna keep going through these and make a note of how they're laid out. But yeah, it's got room. It's got room. And I guess once I get that 550 in, I can see how an older system on like an i5-4570 even handles if it's still usable. From my experience, I've used a lot of these in the past, and they do really well, especially for like budget systems, you know, sub $200 systems all in. They handle modern computing much better than what people would guess. But let's see what we got. Let's keep on rolling. Alrighty, so this one actually has 2 full-size x16 slots. Obviously the one up here gives more room for a graphics card, and this one has DDR4, and it's an i5-6600. This one has, where's the RAM at? It doesn't say on here. Oh yeah, it does. It's got 16 gigs of DDR4. Does it say the speed? It is 2133. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward and go through all these systems and see what all we have. So be right back. All right, so currently I put the DDR3 systems down there, and those are all either 3570s or 4570 i5s. So those are all quad cores. And then the DDR4 systems are up here, and 2 of them have 16 gigs. One of them has 8 gigs, and they're an i5-6500, i5-6500, and an i5-6600, all quad cores as well, just a little bit newer setup. Still got some monitors, keyboards, all that kind of stuff, but then these are no boots. So I don't have time to mess with those today because I do have to run here in a little bit. But I ordered in an RX 550 and then also a GT, I think it was a 1030. I think it was a GT 1030. So I'm going to see how an RX 550 and a GT 1030 compare on both of these systems. But I'm trying to come up with a price point that makes sense for these systems. I am going to be putting either 240 or 500 gig SSDs in. I have both of those, so that way people do have options. But I'm trying to hit somewhere in the price point of like low to mid $100 range on these. So that way, you know, somebody can get into gaming on a budget, because I think those would do well in that price point. And if I can find the graphics card that makes sense to buy, like there's a seller that's selling RX 550 4 gigs, which I hope that graphics card does well. It seems to on YouTube, but you never know until you actually have it installed in your systems and like all your configuration goes into it. So definitely going to be installing that, going to be playing some Fortnite, might even try some other things, maybe like some esports like Apex Legends and that kind of thing. You know, got to get that research in at the office, but see how those do. And then that'll also be pretty valuable for like resale. I did want to go over something that somebody brought up, and you know, I thought it was actually a pretty good point. They were like, why don't you have like, you know, some benchmarks for your PCs? And it's something that I've never done. It's always kind of like, you know, been up to whoever is buying it to check it out. But they were like, you know, you could run like Cinebench or some other benchmarking software on each PC, and then like just have the score and then print it out or put it on the label for every computer. And I'm like, that would actually be pretty cool. So when people come in, they can be like, oh, this CPU or this computer scored this on this and this on that. Kind of like having a CPU and a GPU score. If you guys recommend any benchmarking suites, please drop them down below in the comments. I'm familiar with the, like 3D Mark and Cinebench. I don't know what would be better to go with because I definitely I don't want it to take up too much time, but I know some of those, like Cinebench is super easy. You can just throw that on there, but I don't know if that really does a good job of taking into the GPU into account. I think that's just CPU. I don't know if they have a GPU test or not on there. I need to check it. But yeah, so I think I might start incorporating that into the builds. And I am sorry, I know a bunch of people keep reaching out to me and asking about financing. I talked about it in a previous video. And I am going to be going with the Shopify setup. I'm going to have a Shopify web store. I'm going to have a Shopify POS system. And I'm going to be using their, I think it's Shop Pay or ForPay or something. And it's basically the Shopify's in-house financing. So you can apply through there and you can get financing on anything that I sell, whether you come in store or I ship it. I did order a scale so that way I can start scaling out some stuff, and I'll start putting, like full-fledged computers on the Shopify store. So if somebody does want to pay the shipping, then so be it. It's pretty nice. I can get all my measurements in, get the weight in, and then they can see how much it's going to cost them. Because I don't want to do like flat rate shipping because the computers, they could eat me up. They definitely could. I don't even think you can really do flat rate on something that big. So yeah, that's just going over some of the big things right there. I am still feeling really crummy after this little cold I had yesterday. So I got to package up some stuff. I sold some more CPUs. I told my buddy that he's bringing by, some motherboards and stuff to sell. I told him, I was just like, hey man, just hit me up before you come, because I don't know how long I'm going to be in the shop today. I'm just not feeling great. So anyway, let's package some stuff up. There we go. All right, time jump. Anyway, I'm back at the house, and the wife was about to get rid of one of her, her desk. She kind of used it for like at-home work stuff, but she said she hadn't really been using it in a while because she got a new laptop. She's just been chilling. So she was like, I just kind of want to move that and put a dresser there. And I'm like, awesome. Well, it's just nothing special, a little white desk. I'm going to take that to the shop. And I think I'm going to set that up over there on the other side, maybe, potentially. I know I'm running out of room in there, but can't pass up the opportunity for a free desk, you know?